We should probably dedicate an entire little bit to Twitter, whereas some people may find it frivolous. I think we probably all have our own opinions about what Twitter is useful for. It's an incredible data mining resource. You guys could utilize it to figure out not just what your fans are saying about you, but what they're into. What you're not even your fans. I mean, say you're just literally starting out, just the audience that you hope to attract. What are they? Excuse me. What are they into? What are they? Sweet. And additionally, the real value, well, not the real value, I mean, I think the real value in Twitter is its data mining potential and just the sheer amount, sheer volume of personal data that you would have to pay millions of dollars to a focus group in order to get access to this kind of data. But is really, for you guys as musicians, the personal one-on-one interaction with your audience, and it has nothing to do necessarily with back and forth, tit for tat. It's more like, oh man, I'm standing outside X show and it's sold out. You can hit them back and say, hey, I'll come around back. I'll hook you up with tickets. Imagine the personal experience that is created by something like that. So anyway, that's my personal feeling about the utility of Twitter for musicians. You want to just start down at the end, Dave, and talk about what you think?
I would just say this. When it comes to Twitter, everyone and their mom is on Twitter right now, and if you're not on Twitter right now, then you probably will be in about 15 minutes or 15 months. So because there's so many people on Twitter, there's absolutely no excuse for you to suck on Twitter. So
true.
I suggest that you highly try new things all the time. You definitely personalize your Twitter experience if you're a band, if you're a blogger, if you're a writer, if you're just a fan of music. The thing I love about Twitter is it forces you to be creative because you only have 140 characters or less. That's what I like about it. I wrote down something that said, do something that makes your parents uncomfortable. That usually leads to like really good stuff. And Twitter is such a good platform to experiment with and get personal with. There's a resource that you should all sign up for. It's absolutely free. It's kind of like a Google alert, but within the Twittersphere. It's called Twilert, Twilert, and it's free. And you just go on there and you set up basically alerts for yourself. You can put your band's name in there, and I highly recommend if you're a new band or you're getting into the scene, throw in other bands that you really want to align yourself with. Throw in brands that you want to align yourself with, whether it's guitars, microphones, clothing companies, other bands, record labels. I would say radio, but I'm not a big fan of radio. You don't want to do that. You got to really personalize your attack, and you got to target your niche and make it personal. I can't emphasize enough that there's just so many people sucking at it, and there's no excuse to suck. So you really need to show yourself, be authentic. Don't be someone you're not. Create a persona, but be real about it. And
you will upset people, and you'll lose friends in the process. But it's for the cause. People, I speak from experience, recent experience.
Totally. Yeah, I guess you just need to ask yourself, what do you stand for?
Well, and Twitter puts everyone in the interesting position of being broadcasters. Everyone is broadcasters. You're talking about the irrelevancy of radio, which I agree with, but you're also putting people in a position of being in the position that radio people have been in for years, which is broadcasters. Everything you're putting out there is easily searchable and judgeable, so you don't suck. And the application that you talked about, Twilert.com, I'm going to do my best to sort of keep track of all the things, all the different resources that are talked about at this panel. And in addition to the video being available through the North Park Music Thing, guys, I'm going to put a real quick summary up at my own website at mattdiablo.com. That is primarily...
And that was Matt Diablo. How do you spell that, Matt?
It doesn't matter. You can get there with 2 T's or 1 T, and it's the last thing there. Thank you for letting me throw out that plug. But the thing is, that is actually a really good way, especially once you get to a point where you're following X amount of people, or you're trying to search Twitter less about individuals and more about ideas and trends. Twilert is one of them. I use a particular app on here, which the name escapes me, but I don't necessarily follow anyone on Twitter. What I do is I look for search terms, and that way I can see sort of entire pieces of the conversation as opposed to a one-sided, here's what this person says over and over again. Finding an application that allows you to search Twitter by terms and by ideas and not by individuals is super useful to what you guys are doing. Rob?
Yeah, I mean, sucking on Twitter is not a cool thing, but a lot of people or a lot of organizations get on Twitter and they don't really understand it. It's like when you first get on Twitter, you're like 0 followers following 0 people, and you're like, what the hell do I do now? There's nothing going on here. It's like, I don't know, so you got to get engaged. You got to start following other people, other bands, get the engagement going. And then once you're getting the engagement going, you want to actually have conversations, like real personality. You want to do some tweet photos out to people. You want to show off different things. You want to do Twitter contests. You want to do all kinds of different stuff to get your audience engaged and pull them in, not only to, you know, maybe Twitter as a channel, but to your brand and your music and your whatever as well. But sucking on Twitter, it's excusable for a very short period of time before people are going to just unfollow you or complain or whatever. And the education is kind of trial by fire really quickly. But there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people out there to help you, you know, do better. So just get on it and play with it, and you know, you'll learn real quick.
That's something I'd actually like to return to at some point, is talking about how to engage. You talked about contests and this and that, things that you guys all collectively have found work not just via Twitter, but via any other social publishing platform that you're utilizing. What really works to engage your listeners, your fans, your potential fans. Paul?
Yeah, I mean, so for us as an organization, we really utilize Twitter as a customer service component, because we can track anybody that's tweeting about Eventful, whether they're saying our iPhone app isn't working right now, or whether they're saying I'm searching on San Diego and, you know, my band's picture is wrong. We can have our customer service team interact with them immediately and put a personal face on the company. And I think every band is in that business, is in customer service, because you guys want to keep your fans happy. So making sure that you guys are utilizing hashtags, making sure that your name is easily searchable and you guys own your individual names on Twitter is really important, I think, as well as leveraging the different metrics that are out there and utilizing, you know, when you guys are going to put in a short URL, utilizing a short URL like Bitly, which is bit.ly, which allows you to track, you know, the different people that are clicking on that link, who they are and where they're coming from, and then leveraging that. But I think a lot of it really comes back to customer service and keeping your fans engaged. And keeping people engaged isn't just pushing music on them. It's showing them the picture of your dog shitting diarrhea on the floor. It's showing, you know, it's the fun stuff that people are going to be engaged with and enjoy looking at.
I don't find
you know
that
what I mean?
fun at all.
Unfollow.
Please don't do that.
What's your name, Dan? You're at what?
Here's real quick. I just got a note. I was not aware of this previously. I think I've been going about this the wrong way. Apparently, we're on a time limit, and we got to be done here in like the next 20 minutes. So I'm gonna let these two guys answer that question, and then we'll just go straight to Q&A. And any questions you guys have, just hit us with it. Oh yeah, please, by all means. That microphone right there in the middle. Just step up, get in line. Don't be.
I'll try to keep it tight on the Twitter subject, but
scared.
essentially, and a couple of things were hit here earlier about media companies, and let's, you know, I don't want to be too harsh on radio here, and the term's already been thrown out about radio being irrelevant. In all fairness, it's not just radio, it's newspapers, it's local TV, the media outlets that a lot of artists used to rely on wholeheartedly, man, banging on the doors of radio stations to get on that local music show, banging on the doors of your local paper, your local print publication to get in there. Invest that energy just a little bit. You don't have to invest all of it, but take a portion of the energy that you invest in traditional media outlets to growing your online presence. More power. Before the media outlets had the power, now as a band, you have the power. Social media is running the scene right now. Big companies are tripping out. Labels are tripping out. A lot of local businesses are tripping out. Get in the game, establish your brand, and start playing ball. Because you have the power. You have the power. You have the power to pull 1,000 people to the Del Mar racetrack on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is ridiculous. But I come from a traditional media outlet where I used to offer up friggin' free drinks, pizzas, BJs, friggin' cars, mud wrestling, hookers, and you're lucky to get 5 people on site. Send a tweet, try it when you have an interactive community in place. The results are amazing. You have the power. Exercise it.